Hello, good afternoon. This is NTA Nationwide. I'm Joseph Johnson. Glad to have you join us. Let's begin with the legislature, where the Senate has reiterated its resolve to ensure implementation of the 2017 budget through proper oversight functions. Some senators emphasized this during their consideration of the report of the Committee on Appropriation on the 2017 budget. The senators also pledged to hit the ground running after the passage of the budget, with a view to making up for time loss.
The next phase of what we are supposed to do is to ensure that we oversight very closely on the performances of all the ministries and departments and agencies of government, to ensure that what is in this document is what is implemented.
I want us to go and plead with the executive that when they are implementing this budget, they should make sure that every part of this country is captured.
While presenting the report, Chairman Senate Committee on Appropriation Mohammed Danjuma Goje gave a breakdown of the over 7 trillion budget. Details will come in a subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has also passed the 2017 budget of 7.4 trillion naira, with over 100 billion naira increase from the 7.2 trillion proposed by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Fund of the Federation total sum of 7,441,176,758 naira only, of which 434,412,950,249 only is for statutory transfers, 1,841,345,727,206 naira only is for debt service.
The Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly, Monday Igboya, representing Sapele State constituency, has been impeached by 22 members out of 29 at an emergency sitting at the Assembly Complex, Asaba. The removal of the Speaker was based on alleged high-handedness leadership style. Sheriff Oborowe, representing Okbe State constituency, has been elected as the new Speaker. In his acceptance speech, the new Speaker promised to follow the rules of the House. We shall bring you details as they unfold. In the meantime, the Nigeria Society of Engineers, NSE, has raised some critical issues on resuscitation of ailing steel companies, enhanced local content in Nigeria's Infrastructure Development, Power Reform Act, and local content in the Nigeria industry. This was at an interactive session between the NSE and members of the National Assembly who are engineers by training. Science correspondent Kirian Mayo reports.
The conversation centered on the crucial need for engineers in the lawmaking body not to relent in the advocacy for the engineering profession to be given its rightful place in both public and private sectors as the nation gears up for the diversification of sources of revenue. Prominent among the issues on the table is the attempt by some members of the National Assembly to tamper with the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Act, which NSC says would not augur well for the company's operations, as liquefied gas is currently a major revenue earner for the country. President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Otis Anyeji, speaks on the NSC's position on the matter.
If we try to tamper with the law that has given them certain concessions that will enable them to operate profitably and sustainably, Nigeria will have itself to blame.
If you look at that particular bill, we have some clauses in it that are not in tandem with the reality of today. And we realize in the wisdom of the parliament to assess those clauses and amend it in a way that will work at the level of today.
Other related issues tackled include enhanced entry points for the engineers in the civil service, water resources bill, and headship of engineering-based ministries and development agencies of government. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
Now, with less than 40 days to the new deadline set for digital migration, key players in the broadcast industry are optimistic that Nigeria will not miss the deadline. The Director General, National Broadcasting Commission (NBC), Ishaq Modibo Kau, gave the assurance during a visit to the headquarters of Nigerian communication satellite Nicomsat. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday tells us more.
Having missed the digital switch over DSO deadlines set by the International Telecommunications Union (ITU) twice in 2012 and 2015, the Director General National Broadcasting Commission and members of the House Ad hoc Committee on DSO were conducted around some departments by the Managing Director, Nicomsat, Abimbola Alale. They were briefed in readiness for the actualization of smooth transition by the nation. Chairman House Ad hoc Committee on DSO, Sunday Katung, and DG NBC wants more patronage for indigenous establishments.
Collaborate with the federal government in ensuring that we conserve our scarce foreign exchange by promoting local content.
That kind of money will help to further improve the services of Nicomsat itself. Nigerian government is committed to this process. The National Broadcasting Commission is working diligently to ensure that we achieve this purpose for the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because it's going to change forever the face of television broadcasting in our country.
Meeting the new deadline of digital migration is fast becoming a reality, with the involvement of the satellite arm of Nicomsat to complement the already established digital terrestrial television platforms.
It's just about capacity. It's about having satellite capacity, and the satellite capacity has been existing since. So we've been ready. There is no big deal in this. We just back all the service, which you use bandwidth to do. And the bandwidth is available on Nicomsat 1 hour. So we've always been ready.
It is believed that with the political will of the present administration, Nigeria will not miss out of the digital migration. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Nigeria's medical sector has been told to accord more respect to the rights of patients in order to check the rising cases of medical negligence in the country. A former Director General of the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, Professor Epiphany Azinge, made the call in a lecture to the 2017 National Medical Health Conference holding in Abuja. Femi Okewu reports.
Like most things that border on statistics in Nigeria, the figures of medical errors and negligence are not in the public domain. But daily occurrences show that deaths and medical complications from medical errors and negligence have reached an unbearable level in Nigeria. A visit to the Medical and Dental Council Tribunal, where such matters are tried for the professionals, testifies to the rising number of medical errors and negligence. It is in stemming this trend that Professor Epiphany Azinge told the Conference of Medical Practitioners that the law of medical practice in Nigeria should be upgraded to accommodate greater respect for patients' rights and autonomy as done in more advanced climes.
If the pharmacist cannot understand the handwriting of the doctor, he should say so. And you ask the doctor, why are you trying to accept this procedure rather than the other procedure? What are the other options? These are critical questions we need to ask. And the doctors also should heed the warning in trying to bring in the patients closely enough to know that the patient has a right in the whole business.
He listed transfusion and surgical errors, adverse drug effects, and even ordinary comments and conversations as elements that have proven to affect patients.
In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
As part of efforts to equip young Nigerians with the basic knowledge of their fundamental rights and obligations as responsible citizens of the country, the National Orientation Agency has organized an enlightenment campaign on fundamental rights for secondary students in the FCT. Habiba Oladipo has details.
For the National Orientation Agency, the Enlightenment Campaign on Fundamental Human Rights seeks to expose Nigerian students to the nitty-gritty of the Constitution to enable them become patriotic citizens who live within the ambits of the law. Director General of the agency, Garba Abari, represented by Director of Special Duties, Mrs. Mete Edekobi, says the program is in line with the Change Begins With Me initiative of the federal government.
The fundamental human rights has to do with rights and obligations and responsibilities of citizens to their country. And so putting all that together, you will realize that indeed the change begins with the individual, and it begins with the students today.
It's better for the students to know their rights as they are growing up, so that they will know their obligation too towards the nation.
Other speakers admonished the students to study the nation's constitution in order to know when their rights are being violated and ways to seek justice.
We admonish the students to have the copy of the constitution and let them study it and let them know it. You cannot be a good citizen if you don't even know what the Constitution says.
Nobody has the right to discriminate them, and nobody has the right to violate their rights. Everybody is equal before the rights.
The NOA Enlightenment Campaign on Fundamental Human Rights is expected to be replicated in schools across the 36 states and the FCT. In Abuja, Habibola Dikpo, NTA News.
The Federal Executive Council has approved a memorandum by the Minister of Transportation seeking to negotiate the concession of some federal roads. State House correspondent Gideon Ifade has more on these and other deliberations at the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja.
The Federal Ministry of Transportation, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, and that of Health all got their memos approved today at the Federal Executive Council meeting, presided over by Acting President Yemi Osinbajo. For the Ministry of Transportation, 2 memos were approved by the Cabinet.
One is that the Cabinet has approved that we commence negotiation after we submitted the OBC. OBC is the outline business case that was submitted by GE. So now the transnational advisors will now commence negotiation with GE to conclude the concessioning of the narrow gauge, which starts from Lagos to Kano, Funtua, Kano and other areas, and then from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, which includes Abao, Mahia, Enugu, Makurdi, Jos, Bauchi, Gombe, up to Maiduguri. The next memo that was also approved has to do with the consultants that will supervise the construction of the Lagos-Ibadan Railway, and when we award the Kano-Kaduna Railway, the same consultants have also been approved.
The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment got the nod to establish a Nigerian office for trade negotiation to be headed by a chief negotiator. This, as he explained, was as a result of insufficient coordination of trade agreements, which happens virtually in the ministries, departments and agencies, with consequences for the nation.
Objectives of that office will be to help us to coordinate the various trade discussions and negotiations that we hold, and to achieve coherence in our policies so that our policies will pull our trade together. It will also help us in our implementation of the economic recovery and growth plan, because clearly there's an intention to engage and work with other countries in that process. The last thing I would say is that we also want to make sure we have trade remedies against dumping, remedies against substandard goods, and all the other things, which is something that is allowed the world over. I think this office will also take responsibility to make sure we achieve those remedies.
The Council also approved a memorandum from the Federal Ministry of Health to introduce a new yellow card that has advanced security features.
With this new card, you cannot fake the yellow card. Using a card reader, we can also document your vaccination status. So we'll know whether, in fact, you've been genuinely vaccinated or not. And as soon as we start the rollout, we will let the Nigerian community know about the date of commencement. We'll let them know what to do with the existing card they are holding and when we will phase out the old one.
While briefing the press, the Minister of Information and Culture gave a clarification on the letter by the President to the National Assembly.
The operative sentence is in compliance with Section 1451. Any other words used is not relevant.
In the State House, Jide Onifate, NTA News.
Our Lagos Network Center is our first port of call. Let's join Ademola Adeoye for the latest news around Lagos. Ademola, it's good to see you.
Thank you, Joseph. Good afternoon and warm welcome to Lagos. Motorists plying the Apapa Bridge en route Ijora can now heave a sigh of relief following the rehabilitation work carried out on the bad spots on the bridge. Abolade Salami reports that the fixed spots have significantly reduced bottleneck on the bridge.
Exactly 4 weeks ago, free movement of vehicles in and out of Apapa and its environs was an unbearable experience for motorists. This was because of the long, hard gridlock caused by the rehabilitation work on the Apapa Bridge. With the completion of the rehabilitation exercise, the situation is now different, as motorists now ply the road freely. Some motorists expressed appreciation to the federal government for the quick intervention to ameliorate their sufferings.
Very nice. At least we can pass with peace of mind. But as they fix that place, let them come and fix it here.
It's not the thing to be debated upon. As that place is fixed, it will only continue for some time. And after that, everybody enjoys the road. They are doing a very excellent job. Honestly, I must commend them, but it's taking too much time.
So as they repair that bridge, if there is motor to come for Appa, so you want me to repair the road side before motor go climb bridge. Now I think you want to do that.
That help is better now.
They however appealed to relevant authorities to fix other bad spots along Tinkan Wharf Road in order to put an end to the incessant fall-off of heavy-duty trucks along the road. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has warned officers and rank and file to desist from harassing motorists using vehicles with tinted glasses or mountain roadblocks, demanding for tinted glasses permit from motorists across the country. This was relayed at a media parley with the Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian Police Zone 2 in Lagos. Lynn Lenike has the details.
According to the Police Public Relations Officer Zone 2, Dolapo Badmus, the directive by the Inspector General of Police stems from various complaints received from motorists on series of harassments by police officers in several parts of the country. She said the leadership of the Nigeria Police will not hesitate to sanction police officers who flout the directive.
The AIG has directed the officers and men within Lagos and Ogun State Command that they should advise members of the public to get that, and that on no account should they arrest or extort any member of the public for not having that.
Dolapo further stated that the process involved in securing tinted permit has been simplified and urged motorists to log on the police website to renew their permits.
Anyone that wants to have the tinted permit should go to www.npf.gov.ng/tinted permit, where you will download the form for having the tinted permit.
The directive by the IGP, the PRO Zone 2 said, is also in line with the philosophy of the Nigeria Police leadership to build a credible database of motorists with a view to tackling various forms of criminality in the country. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Well, that does it. From Lagos, it's back to you, Joseph, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Ademola. The federal government says it will continue to explore means of tackling security challenges facing the country until peace is restored all over. The Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Dambazau, said this at the National Security Summit held in Abuja. He said government is equipping and building the capacity of security personnel to curb insecurity across the country.
There is an issue which is not, local as such. We have our own local problem, but it's an issue that has regional dimension. So what are we doing about it? Part of the solution will be provided by the recently signed immigration regulations.
The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, while acknowledging the support from stakeholders towards ensuring internal security, said the police will continue to partner with all to ensure peace and harmony, as well as reduce crime in the country.
Of police mobile force personnel for close position duties to VIPs has been banned. We have therefore established a school to train close protection units personnel in order to enhance their capacity, and also the plan to establish more close protection bases in all states of federation.
Chairman of the Traditional Council of Nigeria, Sultan of Sokoto, Sa'ad Abubakar III, and the co-chairman, Oni of Ife, reiterated the willingness of the traditional institution to facilitate peaceful coexistence at all times.
Taken, either due to dishonesty, due to lack of seriousness, due to selfishness on our parts, because when an issue affects your brother of ethnic stock or religious background, you turn your face away. A criminal is a criminal, whoever that person is. Security issues across this country, the depth and the development of it for us to have a better society depends on you and I.
Using water resources to reduce unemployment and drive economic growth in Nigeria is the focus of the 6th National Water Conference holding in Makadi, Benue State. Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu says the ministry will sustain its partnership with concerned parties in water management towards the realization of the Buhari administration's pursuit of economic policies and prosperity and youth empowerment. Salihu Abdullahi has details.
More than 300 players in the water resources sector are in Makurdi, the Benue state capital, not to see the river Benue, but to explore the encompassing relationship between water and jobs. For 3 days, they will be discussing how to address water as a driver for sustainable development and poverty eradication, how to coordinate water policies and governance, as well as how to enhance potable water supply and sanitation marketing, among others. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu, through the acting permanent secretary, explains that the federal government is enhancing the National Assembly for passage of the Water Resources Bill for the sector to achieve the set objectives.
I want us to know that promoting policies that bring employment opportunities, as well as raising awareness about water's centrality to economic growth, requires cooperation and partnership at all levels.
The minister is hopeful that the conference outcome would be acceptable to government for implementation. With the theme, Water and Job, Benue State government says the conference is coming at a time that the country is working hard to addressing high rate of unemployment.
At the moment, the government is undertaking the development of dams for dry season farming.
Participants at the opening session acknowledged the new drive in the water resources sector for optimal utilization of water resources and promotion of agriculture. Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, says the NTA will synergize with the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, in propagating programs and activities designed to address unemployment in the country. He said this while receiving the new Director General of NDE at the NTA headquarters, Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
One of the challenging issues affecting governments world over is the problem of youth unemployment. The problem has often led to migration to Europe in recent times, which Nigeria has a fair share. It is in view of this that National Directorate of Employment is making an effort to resuscitate over 70 skills acquisition centers across the country, as well as programs targeted towards exporting employment and empowering small businesses at the grassroots. This they intend to achieve in collaboration with NTA. The Director General, represented by the Executive Director of Programs, Wale Koka, expressed willingness to partner with the NDA.
NTA on our own, a government organization, is set up to support each other
and promote government activities and policies and all that. So we on our own will do our best to support and collaborate with you.
Bring back NDE back to its lost, from its lost glory. And this we intend to achieve by ensuring that at least we'll create as much job as possible so that our teeming unemployed youth will get job, will have something to do.
The show of commitment towards partnering was exhibited by exchange of gifts. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The deplorable state of technical education in Nigeria is said to be responsible for the loss of over 900 billion naira to foreign artisans and technicians who are hired to fill the technical manpower gap in the country. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, while discussing the resuscitation of technical colleges in the country, suggested that state government should dedicate boards for technical education and fund technical schools adequately to arrest the decay. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
Pre-vocational 2, pre-vocational 3, so that all those who are entering into secondary school, into technical colleges, have business to do with technical education.
Pleading with the remaining governors, 32 of them, to please just resuscitate one technical college in your state, and the scenario will change. Because these people is self-regenerating.
They equally agree that government needs to pay attention on training and retraining of personnel in that
policies. We're advising governments or the African Union or certain policies that will ultimately make us competitive.
The policy will be able to kill, then we will then use that as a basis for interrogating the policy and the industry and all.
The conference expressed optimism that the recommendations, if effectively acted upon, will resolve challenges facing effective use of internet for national development. In Ibadan, Femi Afolabi, NTA News.
A new zonal command office of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons.
The Southwest Zonal Commander, Joseph Femaki, said the major strides of the agency in the areas of rescue and rehabilitation of victims and prosecution of offenders will soon receive a boost with the new office. The new command office will soon be commissioned in Oshobo. Adini Itewo, NTA News.
A 50-year-old man has been paraded by the Ogun State Command of the Nigeria Police for allegedly shooting dead a motorboy at a car wash center at Leme in Abeokuta. The State Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Iliasu, while parading him and 7 other suspects arrested for committing various crimes, reiterated the command's commitment to providing adequate security of lives and property. Correspondent Anthony Gandono has details.
Olatunbosun Tunde, fondly called Soldier, was said to have been arrested along Obantoko in Abeokuta on the account that on 29th of April this year, after an argument at a car wash in Leme, Abeokuta allegedly shot one Razak at close range, who died on the spot.
Yes, and the gun is, I'm using it to scare people in my environment because I'm selling a car. My house is very close to the
Also paraded were Yusuf Mustafa and Lekon Lukman, who were said to have been terrorizing residents of Obantoko area. Another suspect paraded for impersonation was Sonny Tijani, who was arrested for claiming to be officer of Nigerian Army. Briefing journalists before the parade, CP Ahmed Iliasu made it clear that the state will no longer be conducive for criminally minded people.
We are going all out on a massive manhunt for the would-be criminals in the command so as to make residents of these states to sleep with their 2 eyes closed.
Items recovered included one Ava pump action gun, one locally made single-barreled gun loaded with 3 live cartridges, military uniforms, and 7 pairs of vehicle plate numbers. In Abeokuta, Anthony Gandono, NTA News.
That's our packet from Ibadan. It's back to Johnson in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide.
Fatai from our Ibadan Network Center there. Now let's turn our attention to Yenagoa, where the development of the extractive industry will pave the way for an all-inclusive enterprise and further strengthen federal government's plan to diversify the economy. This was highlighted at the opening of the 52nd Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. Paul Omokago reports.
The conference created yet another platform for surveyors to brainstorm on a number of issues centered around this year's theme, mapping and the extractive industry. Solid minerals, oil and gas explorations are part of the extractive industry, and surveyors are deliberating on how to profile solutions to challenges in the industry. Bayelsa State Governor, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Chief Serena Dokubo-Spieth, urged participants to come up with creative ideas to exploit openings in the industry.
It's with surveying that you have an idea of even of your population. You have an idea of the topography of your geography so that you can plan and plan effectively.
President of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, Akinloye Oyebola, said patronage of professionals duly registered should be encouraged to boost development and security of the country, as surveyors provide support services to a number of projects across the country. He restated effort made so far to inaugurate the Surveyors Council of Nigeria, as it is awaiting the approval of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We thought we should come first and be proactive and let the people know the steps they need to take. If we do that, then we will have taken the right step with the stance of the government on diversification.
The fact that people don't recognize the worth of the surveyor readily.
Some of the problems we are having right now in the extractive industry is that the right policies are not being put in place.
Technical and lecture series leading to a communique is expected to be in focus before the close of the conference on Friday, 12th May 2017. In Yenagoa, Paul Omokago, NTA.
And back here in Abuja, effective integration of women into governance and leadership is being advocated to achieve speedy development across all sectors of the economy and within the 3 tiers of government. This was the crux of the matter at the 2017 Annual National Women Leadership Conference in Abuja. Lydia Bassi was there and reports.
The Nigerian census of 2006 has it that women constitute about 50% of the total population. Therefore, participants at the conference highlighted the importance of women as a major interested party in the development project of Nigeria. They emphasized the need for women to be given more opportunities to participate fully in the decision-making processes.
A wake-up call for women. Remember, if you don't say I am, nobody will say you are.
Women have to be given the opportunity to showcase their contribution, not just in service, but also in leadership.
With the theme, Leading Sustainable Change in Nigeria, Accelerating Development Through Effective Integration of Women in Leadership, participants agree that there is growing recognition of untapped capacity and talents of women and women's leadership in recent times.
This program is targeted to motivate women to know that they are the ones to integrate themselves by developing competence.
The annual event
is 16th of May 2017. Venue, Abuja International Conference Center. Chairman of the event, Aremu Olusegun Oshoba, former governor of Ogun State and former MD of Daily Times. Keynote speaker, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, former governor of Lagos State. For more information and listed nominees, visit www.dailytimes.ng. Daily Times at 91. We honor our
Rawlings, former president of Ghana, lecture and keynote address, Professor Femi Odekunle, member, Presidential Advisory Committee on Anti-Corruption, chief host, Dr. Bukola Saraki, president of the Senate, organizing committee, announcer.
The NTA TV College, an affiliate of the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, wishes to invite the public to the closing ceremony and presentation of certificates of its capacity building youth empowerment training program in camera operation techniques designed to rehabilitate 102 internally displaced persons in northeast Nigeria by building their capacities and empowering them to fend for themselves.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Nationwide with me, Joseph Johnson. Time now to join Lami in our Maiduguri Network Center for more on Nationwide. Lami, what's the latest?
Hello, Johnston. Thank you for joining us in Maiduguri. Poverty, corruption, and poor governance have been identified as some of the causes that gave way to the emergence of Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast. This came to the fore during a public lecture organized by the University of Maiduguri with the theme Resilience and Miracle in Times of Crisis, the case of Northeast Nigeria. Maimuna Garba was at Elkenemi Hall of the institution, venue of the public lecture.
Much more complex than that.
Some guests at the public lecture commended the foresight of the university, describing it as apt and topical. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
The people of Biu, Kwayakusar, Bayo, and Shani local government areas in southern part of Borno State have been urged to take advantage of the additional hospital equipment and medical items donated to Biu General Hospital. Haman Jabani has the reports.
The Biu General Hospital, which has been in existence for a long time before the establishment of similar general hospitals in other local government areas of the zone, provides healthcare services to most people in southern part of Borno State. The provision of the hospital equipment to complement government's effort will therefore uplift the standard of healthcare services in the area. The federal lawmaker representing Biu, Kwayakusar, Bayo, and Shani local government areas, Muktari Betra Aliu, who made the donation, urged the hospital authority to take good care of the facilities. The principal medical officer of the hospital, Edward Dika, said the gesture will go a long way in addressing critical challenges being faced by staff, especially in carrying out surgical operations. Emir of Biu, Umar Mustafa Aliu, described the gesture as worthy of commendation. From Biu local government area of Borno State, Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
And that wraps it in Maiduguri. It's back to Joseph in Abuja.
Lami, thank you very much. Let's get to some of the days of the news now. Staff at General Hospital Wukari have expressed optimism that the ongoing renovation work on the healthcare center, embarked upon by the state government, will attract better patronage and serve as incentive.
Fill up, patient. We don't some of the toilet blocked and all this. But with this innovation, we are seeing something good is coming up.
So I believe that if the hospital were better than what it was before this renovation, we will have had more patients coming in.
The project manager, Odunyemi Olafemi, gave a breakdown of the work to include the rehabilitation of the laboratory, X-ray department, theater department, 5 wards, a conference hall, and the administrative block. Others include the reconstruction of a relaxation center, the staff quarters, an incinerator, the fence, drilling of boreholes to supply water in the hospital, and landscaping. The hospital was established in 1962, but like many other general hospitals across the country, have been in a dilapidated state for long. From Wukari, Joseph Sound 10, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Nationwide. We take you now to our Benin Network Center, where Agatha is standing by with more reports. Agatha, how is Benin today?
We are doing well, Joseph. Good evening and many thanks for joining us here. A new Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly has emerged. He is Sheriff Oborowere, representing Okwe State constituency. This follows the impeachment of the former Speaker, Monday Abuja, at an emergency sitting at the Assembly complex. Austin Demudu reports that 22 out of the 29 lawmakers signed the impeachment notice.
That was the mood this morning at the Assembly complex after the impeachment was made public. The House at plenary presided over by the Deputy Speaker, Friday Osanebi, with both the clerk and sergeant at arms in attendance, removed Tim Owefre representing Isoko North as the majority leader. The member representing Isoko South 2, Johnson Erijo, is now the new majority leader. Johnson Erijo said the removal became necessary following the incompetence, high-handedness, and his unacceptable leadership style.
I wish to move, Mr. Speaker, that the former Speaker of this House, the Right Honorable Monday Iguya, be suspended from this House for a period of 3 months.
In his acceptance speech, the new Speaker, Sheriff Oboroweri, promised to adhere strictly to the rules of the House. He also said he would not allow the integrity of the House to be undermined.
For the period of being Speaker, members will get all my support. My doors are open.
The House has adjourned plenary to the 23rd of May 2017. I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Away from happenings in Delta State, beyond feeding, children of educational age in internally displaced persons camps must be educated and acquire skills they need to survive the future. This was the view of the former governor of Edo State, Comrade Adams Ushomole, and his wife Iara during their visit to the IDP camp in Uhugwa. Obeyi Otobua Pesai reports that food items and cash were presented to the children.
IDPs could not hide their excitement. The Oshomoles took time out to interact with some of the children. They also inspected the school in the camp, where they observed children in different classes undergoing lectures. The former governor and his wife thereafter presented food items worth millions of naira and an undisclosed sum to the IDPs. Comrade Adams Oshomole said Uhugwa camp is a core part of Edo State, which, like every other part, deserves the attention of government and other well-meaning Nigerians.
We recognize that these children, many of them are of school age, they are intelligent, they are sound, they are brilliant, and they need, beyond surviving today, they need to be equipped to be able to face the rigors of the future.
We will continue to support them, and with We Care Trust, we will continue to support them even out of office.
The coordinator of the camp and some of the IDPs said the gesture by the former governor and his wife is an attestation of their love for humanity.
Himself and the wife have demonstrated that they were not just doing it because of politics, but that they still have us in their heart.
Only God will bless them for the love that he has in his heart for us.
The former governor and his wife have promised the IDPs here in Uhugwa that the gesture today will be a continuous one. In Uhugwa, Obeyi Otobua Pesai, NTA News.
Obeyi's report ends our package here. Joseph, you're on.
Agatha, thank you. Now let's bring you the latest news from around the world. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta approves a new law that allows the usage of livestock in obtaining bank loans. This and more on Global Tidbits with Talatu Ezerike.
Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta, in an effort to empower the poor, has approved a law which allows low-income earners to secure loans from banks using livestock and other household appliances as collateral. This comes as Zanzibar's government temporarily shut down all schools on the island because of heavy flooding, a decision taken for safety after some schools were submerged. Also, Libyan Coast Guards have intercepted a boat packed with nearly 500 migrants heading for Europe. From South Africa, President Jacob Zuma appeals against a High Court ruling ordering him to give reasons for his controversial decision to sack the country's finance minister. And Iraqi security forces assure that the operation to recapture Mosul from militants will be concluded in a few days. That is all on Global Tidbits. Talatu Ezerike, NTA News.
And in sports, Nigeria Nationwide League One moves to boost television broadcast of the league as Crabblers arrive Abuja for the 2017 National Championship. Tamara Ibiwe tells us more on Sports Update.
The Nationwide League One has signed a television deal to complement the broadcast of its matches on the NTA Sports channel in order to ensure wide reach to the grassroots. George Gift reports that the move is geared towards professionalizing and attracting sponsorship to the league.
The youth will have a future because we are making use of this program to become a transformation program. The quality of football in Nigeria, as a result, will also improve up to the upper leagues and even the national team.
Meanwhile, Spartans FC beat MFM Feeders 3-1 in the season's opener midweek in Lagos. Real Madrid secured a place in their